Welcome back to Two Sports Overtime. I'm Joey DeBerardino, sports director here at Channel 2. No Kayler Smith this week, but she's going to be joining us in spirit with a segment she did with Butler and Wright State alum Boston Smith. We're going to get to that later in the break, after the break, but we're going to start things off talking about Bengals training camp coming up. It's already underway now this week, starting on Wednesday down in Cincinnati, and we were down there on Monday for Media Day. A lot to dissect. Talking about the 2025 Cincinnati Bengals this season. And the biggest thing that they're going to be doing is everyone knows about the Bengals' slow starts to a season. The last couple of years have been rough. It seems like the Bengals really can't get off to a good foot. Last year, 0-3, previous two seasons, or a couple of years ago, it was 0-3, previous two seasons, 0-2 in just 6 seasons under head coach Zac Taylor. They've only won in the first opening week one time. So trying to get over that hump of getting that slow start. And what they're going to be doing this year, shaking things up a little bit, is going to be changing the practice sessions from the afternoon to the morning. So a pretty big change. It seems that the players and the rest of the coaching staff is on board with this adjustment. The correlation, I guess you have to think, well, you start your day early, you get going with your day early, and you start practicing right away. That's that same mindset that needs to then translate into starting a regular season in the NFL. You got to start quick, you got to start fast, and you got to be ready. So Zac Taylor and company hoping that that is the case moving forward with these afternoon sessions. They're going to walk through at night, and they're going to do their installs then, and then in the morning get underway, and then have team meetings and watch film in the afternoon. So a little bit of a different feel for the Bengals this training camp in the offseason. So we're going to see if it pays dividends for them going forward. During Monday's media day, Zac Taylor and offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher spoke about what this means for the team and how it's going to really change their rhythms and, you know, how they go about their days and practices starting this season.
Practicing in the morning is a big change for us. You know, it changes the whole schedule of the day and how we install and how we walk through. And so waking up in the morning, getting out of bed, getting yourself ready to go, because we got to start fast in order to have a great practice. So I think it's a good change of pace. Just because we've done it the same way for 6 years doesn't mean we got to continue to do it. So I like the rhythm of what we're about to do.
There is meaning in practicing early. We got to play early. We got to show up and play. And we got to show up and coach. And we got to do we have to be at our best from the jump. You know, we walk through the night before. You walk in the door, you know, in the morning, and your cleats are hitting that grass 45 minutes later, and we're rolling.
So the message there clear from the Bengals coaching staff. Just like I mentioned, they're in the belief that you can take a mindset of coming in the morning and getting practices underway quickly, and that is going to translate into the offseason and the preseason. We also heard from head coach Zac Taylor talking about how much more the starters are going to see the field in those preseason games. That final home game, final preseason game is at home. It's against the Colts. So we're going to get a really good look at some of those starters. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, Chase Brown, guys on the defensive end as well. So it's going to be really telling to see how much of that training camp adjustment pays off for the Bengals early on. One of the other big things that we've been talking about for the Bengals this year is, leadership stepping up. Who's going to be, the guy? Obviously, Joe Burrow, we know the quarterback, made it a point the last couple of seasons to say, hey, I got to be that rah-rah vocal guy that typically he has not been in his first few seasons in the NFL. Now entering year 6, look for Burrow to really fill into the role of the team leader and the guy that is going to try to get everybody on the same page. But, of course, you're going to be without former Ohio State guy, Moeller guy as well, defensive end Sam Hubbard for the first time in a few seasons with the Bengals. So they're going to surely feel his presence lost. No Jermaine Pratt as well on the defensive side. So guys like Logan Wilson, Von Bell, a veteran, of course, Dax Hill, all those guys, even Cam Taylor-Britt, even a young player in this league like Cam Taylor-Britt can step up. And, of course, they'll be looking at Trey Hendrickson. Hopefully they have him around for this season. But the defensive side is really going to need that bolstered leadership going into this year after another disappointing season last year of missing the playoffs yet again. And it's just something you cannot do when you have a talented roster like this, especially guys like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. They've locked them all down, especially Higgins and Chase, just a few months ago to those long-term contracts. So they're in for the long haul. Those guys no longer have those distractions. But when you talk about the contract dispute distractions, those continue to surface every offseason, it feels like, for the Bengals. This year, it is the pair of defensive ends. It's rookie Shamar Stewart and star edge rusher Trey Hendrickson caught in those contract stalemates. So while the team is kind of working on still trying to lock up the NFL reigning sack leader in Hendrickson, most of the attention really has fallen to negotiations surrounding their first-round pick. And this has really taken kind of national coverage as well. It's really drawn the attention of a lot of people around the league, fans voicing their displeasure with this process of why it's taking a little long. And really, again, to kind of reiterate for anybody that doesn't know or is still confused, the disagreement centers on future guarantees regarding Shamar Stewart. So basically, if he were to get hurt, what the team is, liable to owe him, if he were to have off-field issues, and really that's what it protects the team against. If you look at somebody like Jermaine Burton, one of the Bengals' top picks from just a couple of years ago, he had some, his fair share of off-the-field issues last year. So I think the Bengals are trying to avoid another circumstance like that. But Shamar Stewart's party is essentially telling him, this is not something that you need to take part in. But, the Bengals were pretty holding their stance firm on Monday during that media day. Duke Tobin owner Mike Brown talking about, what this language means. And it's really just an agreement of what already is said in the contract. So both sides clearly at a standstill. When you look at what they're really talking about, it kind of makes sense from the team's perspective of, if Shamar has no intentions of going out and committing crimes or getting himself in trouble off the field, then there should be no problem to sign for it. But there are clauses in there that has to do with injuries, and Shamar and his party, his attorneys and his agent believe that that he should not be the first Bengals rookie to have this clause. Now, the flip side of that is the Bengals are one of the last teams to implement this in their rookie contracts. It is not something new in the league. It's not something that is being introduced for the first time. Hearing Mike Brown and Duke Tobin talk about this, you can see their frustration pretty clearly. It's pretty evident that they just want to get this kid signed and get him going, because the longer he waits, the more reps he misses out on getting himself up to speed as a rookie in the NFL, and they need him right away. Obviously, we don't know what's going to go on with Trey Hendrickson's situation, whether he's going to hold out. He's obviously under contract for this year, trying to get an extension done, but they need help on the defensive front. Bengals were one of the worst defensive teams in almost every category last season. Obviously, there's a new defensive coordinator in town with Lou Anarumo heading out to the Colts. Al Golden comes into town, a former linebacker coach for the Bengals, and of course he was with Notre Dame as their DC during their national championship run under Wayne alum Marcus Freeman last year for the Fighting Irish. But so there's going to be a little bit of a different feel to this defense and trying to find a new identity. But clearly they need Hendrickson, but they definitely need Shamar Stewart to get to work. So, but Mike Brown basically, this is exactly what he said. He called the entire thing foolishness on Monday during the Bengals media day. Duke Tobin obviously fielding basically every single question regarding that. He wanted to talk about something else with us for sure, but you can't blame him with that. So it just seemed like, and Mike Brown really went into this spiel about, if a player has off the field issues, if he were to go to jail, I'm not going to pay him for a guy to sit in jail. So which is obviously the case. So which makes you think, why is Shamar Stewart holding out? There must be some other reasons. So it sounds like there's just some other language that is talking about the time frame of when those guarantees become, in effect or taken away from when an issue happens. It also sounds like it has something to do with potential injuries. So we'll listen to hear what Mike Brown and Duke Tobin had to say during that media day talking about this Shamar Stewart contract dispute.
We're sitting here arguing over something that I think is pretty remote, and he needs to get underway soon. It doesn't help him or us to have this strung out.
We think it's important that he's here. It's important for a young player to start fast, have a productive rookie season. The difference is minute and it's just a clarification of what is already agreed it means, and we're probably the last team to put it in. If I thought we were being unfair, I probably would hesitate, but I don't believe that, and I certainly don't think that's the case.
All right, so there it is. Bengals front office, their staff, director of player personnel, GM Duke Tobin, and owner Mike Brown pretty vehemently standing their case on what this means and the language and why they believe that they're kind of in the right here. So it's really just two sides kind of deadlocked in this, this dispute. So we're going to continue to monitor it and kind of see where it goes. Training camp, like I said, underway as of Wednesday. So we're going to continue to monitor this situation as well. We'll be down in Cincinnati bringing you all the action from training camp, see how Joe Burrow and company are doing, as well as we get ready for another Bengals season coming up on the horizon. It's going to be here before we know it. So now that, Bengals talk is over for this segment, we're going to be moving on to hit a few other things. We're going to revisit baseball, and most specifically, a couple local alums getting drafted to the MLB, and got right here in our own backyard at Wright State as well. All that coming up right here after the break on 2 Sports Overtime. Welcome back to 2 Sports Overtime, coming after the break. Thanks for joining us again this week on another exciting segment. Lots to talk about again in the football and baseball world. We just got done talking about Bengals training camp and the whole contract situations with Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson, how the team is going to be shifting their workouts to the mornings now instead. But we dive right in now to the next portion of this. A local alum, couple local alums really, 2 from Butler and a guy from Wright State. Boston Smith drafted in the 6th round, 171st overall to the Washington Nationals, and a former teammate at Butler, Caden Etchman out of NKU, going to the Cardinals as well. We'll just get right into our entire interview here. Our 2 Sports reporter, Kayler Smith, sat down with Boston to get all his exciting emotions about what this opportunity means for him to get drafted in the MLB.
All right, Boston, a big congratulations being taken by the Washington Nationals. What has this last couple of hours been like for you, hearing your name called and getting that phone call?
It's just been a sort of a surreal feeling. I mean, it's been a long journey for me from, even before I graduated high school to where I am now. Just, incredibly thankful, incredibly blessed. Just hearing my name get called and getting a phone call from the Nationals and hearing that they want to select me was just a dream come true.
Now, what was this pre-draft process like for you? Because your season didn't end that long ago with Wright State in the regional round of the NCAA tournament. So how much contact did you have with other teams? Were you doing workouts? Just what have these last couple weeks been like?
Yeah, it's been honestly more work than anything. So as soon as I got back from school, I went and did a handful of workouts with some other teams, and then I actually went out to Pennsylvania this summer and played summer ball for the Williamsport Crosscutters, and just went out there to play and play some high-level guys. I mean, I think there's been close to 10 guys from that league get signed already. So just being able to face other draft prospects, and then I got home last Wednesday, so it hasn't even been a full week of being home. Just praying and being incredibly grateful that this might become a reality for me, and just trying to do the right thing over the phone and make the right connections and just see where it takes me. I mean, a lot of these teams have so much data on who I am as a player. Most of the interactions are about who I am as a man and what I do every day about my business and how I handle myself.
Now, tell me about getting the call. What was the conversation like? What did they say to you? Who were you with? Tell me about that experience.
So I was with my mom, my sister, and my girlfriend, and I was just sitting on the couch, and my advisor reached out to me and said, "Hey, the Nationals have the next pick in the next round, and they want to pick you. What's it going to take?" And I was like, "How much time do I have?" And he essentially gave me 5 to 10 seconds to make a decision, and I was like, "This is what I want to do. This is a team that's interested enough in me to sign me in the 6th round." And it's just one of those things. If they're willing to risk it for me, I'm willing to do whatever I can for them. And we just called it a done deal, and I just waited to hear my name on the TV.
And when they called you, what did they say?
It was their area scout, and he was just very thankful. He said, "Congratulations, we're all fired up here to have you." And just kind of now, the pick is one thing, and then turning this into now a career for me is another thing. And he's like just excited to get after it and get to work and see what I can do as a player.
Now, I had the unique opportunity of getting to meet your family during the Horizon League tournament. And gosh, I mean, they just are the biggest fans of you. So, what was it like sharing that moment with them?
Yeah, it was. I think it's more special because my family doesn't have a past of athletes. I mean, all of my siblings are incredibly successful in their own ways. My parents are very smart, very successful in their own ways, and for me to be an athlete, it's just kind of uncharted territory that we've discovered along this path for me, and really getting to soak it in and just sit there and say, "Wow, I just signed a professional." I haven't signed a professional contract, but for a team to pick me was just a such a surreal feeling. My sister, that I'm sure you've met, she came barging in the door as soon as it happened. She was already planning on meeting me, and it was cool. She was so excited. Tears were rolling. It was just such a special feeling to be there with my family on this day.
And you had an illustrious career for the Raiders. You're leaving as a single season home run leader for not only the program, but the conference. Ended on a high note, not so much a high note in the regional, but had some very high points in the regional, taking down the top overall seed, Vanderbilt. Can you just sum up what your career at Wright State has meant to you?
Life changing. I mean, if there's two words to put it there, I would say life changing. I mean, I don't think people give Wright State enough credit about what they do on how to develop young men, not just players. I mean, what Coach Sogard has done for me, Coach Metzger, Coach Sloan, the guys that when I first got recruited there, the way they impacted my life in ways that I'll never forget was just life changing. And then even meeting, our coaches like Jordan Cairo and Travis Farrick, just the things that they did behind the scenes for me and the rest of the guys is this is a place that I don't think it's unlike any other place in college baseball. I mean, lack of money, resources, but we always find a way to produce good ball players, and I think that's a product of the culture that we've built here. I mean, I'm sitting in the press box right now, and I have two former guys that I played with this season out here doing sprints in the 95-degree heat. One just showed up back in Dayton at 4:30 last night, and he's out here doing sprints. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's not taught or talked about here at this program. And just being a part of that for 3 years and really learning from some really talented players along the way was a lot of fun.
I noticed that. I was going to ask you that. I see you looking out in front of you at the stadium with admiration as you talk about this place. You're kind of soaking it in for the last time, it seems, today. Just what are the feelings running through you as you look out at that stadium one more time before you kind of take your next chapter?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. It's just I'm so grateful. I mean, there's a reason why you see as many draft picks out on that board in front of the stadium as you do when you walk into the stadium. Just just such a great group of guys from 1 through 40, the coaching staff, the training staff, the behind the scenes, the academic advisors. Everybody's bought in. Everybody not only wants to see you succeed on the field, but wants you to be a better man than where you first started when you got here in this program. So just being here and saying I was a Raider and now I get to try to make something happen at the professional level is just a dream come true.
What would you like to say to the community here in the Miami Valley, going to Butler High School and then coming up to Wright State and playing for your hometown? Just what would you like to say to this community?
I mean, you never know where your path is going to take you. And that's kind of what I would say to the younger generation in this area. I mean, you see a third rounder from Baden this year. You've seen guys left and right, Sebastian Gongora, Andrew Patrick, all in the Ohio area. Just you never know where your path is going to take you, and you never know when that story is going to be over. And just some days are going to be worse than others, and some days are going to be amazing. But staying true to yourself and just enjoying the opportunities you get living in this area are so amazing. And that's what I would probably tell them.
What are these next few months going to look like? I know you're going to have some time off before you get into spring training in about 6 or so months, and then the minor league season starting in April. So, what do these next few months kind of look like for you?
Um, so actually, I'm probably going to have to fly out to the spring training facility this week, and then I'd probably start playing minor league baseball here within the next month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they'll
Yeah, do
send
you
a,
know where you might start?
I have no idea. I don't even know what my plan is. That nobody's really reached out. I think they're waiting for the rest of the draft to unfold and settle down. But yeah, they'll send a lot of the guys out to the complex to meet each other, to get used to each other. And then for me being 22, they're probably going to send me out to an affiliated baseball or the rookie league, something like that, just to start playing, to assess stuff. And then I'll have a plan going into the winter on what I need to do by spring training next year.
Did you grow up going to many Dragons games?
All the time.
So you have kind of a feel for what that environment can be like and kind of what that grind can be like for these guys.
Yes. Yes. I went, oh my gosh, I've been out there for, I don't even know how many games I've been to throughout my life. It's so much fun out there.
So how do you attack that mindset, knowing that when you're going into it, you're always trying to get to the next level, but you can't think about it too much because you have to focus on the game that's in front of you?
Yeah. Um, I would say just one day at a time. And that's when you look at long-term goals, at least myself, it's just one day at a time. How can I be healthy for today? How can I put my best foot forward today? And if you do that on a consistent basis, and when there is a bad day, it's like, okay, now I know what to do tomorrow. I know what to hammer tomorrow. And when you can have that kind of consistent mindset of always wanting to get better, not putting pressure on yourself, but having goals, short goals that then lead to the long-term goals, I think really kind of iron out those wrinkles in that plan and just kind of make things consistent and smooth.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say that I didn't ask you today?
I mean, just incredibly grateful to be able to be on here with you and to, represent the Dayton area. And, God's been so good to me and just so incredibly thankful for the way this season unfolded and how my career's unfolded to be able to do this for a living now.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Kayler, first of all, as doing that interview. And then, of course, big shout out to Boston Smith taking the time, as always, with us. We've interviewed him a handful of times already in his time over at Wright State. Great guy, great player, great family as well. They've been a blast to be a part of, and we appreciate them taking the time with us and, of course, inviting us out to the celebration along with Caden Etchman, his former Butler teammate, as you saw a couple pictures of them there. Of course, Boston led college baseball in homers last season, tied nationally #1 with, of course, none other than a guy that the Reds just took, Mason Neville out of Oregon. So those two both blasting 26 bombs during the 2025 season. So awesome to see Boston Smith getting drafted. Etchman, of course, like I mentioned, going to the Cardinals as well in the 12th round, 360th overall. They were rivals in the Horizon League, and then now they're getting drafted on the same day. And then, of course, another special shout-out to Miamisburg graduate and Ohio State junior, Pitcher Blaine Wink, taken in the 8th round, 226 overall, going to the White Sox. He said this was surreal. His dream now actually happening. Former GWAC Player of the Year. He was injured a little bit with the Buckeyes, but now excited for a chance in the pros. So special shout-out to all three of those guys, and we're excited to see what they do. We're going to continue to have more baseball coming up here for you next week, but we're really going to start taking a deep dive into training camp when you join Kayler and myself right here again on 2 Sports Overtime. Joey DeBerardino. We'll see you next week.